Welcome back to the Gentleman Talk Show. I am your host, Jose. And just to let you know, you can follow me on YouTube and on Instagram as the Gentleman Talk Show. Today's show, I feel, is an important one. It's one that I've been contemplating on for quite a while, and that is on fatherhood, which I feel comes at a perfect time. So even if you're not a father, or not planning to become a father anytime soon, that's okay. I feel like this is something that our generation needs today. These ideas that I've had, and thankfully I was able to find them online through a website, and I think that website's called. Let me see if I can find it here. The Pediatric Associates of Franklin website, which yeah, these are just opinions of mine that I've been, playing around with for a while, and turns out that they are facts. So they went from opinions to facts, and that's what I bring to you today. There are 5 points, and out of the 5, 4 of those are from that website, and the last one I added myself because I found it very important. I want to talk about fatherhood because I feel it's an important thing that a lot of us men are kind of missing. I feel that the responsibility of taking care of our children is being lost. I feel that we're putting more importance to working out, to extracurricular activities that don't concern our children, and we're losing our vision for our children as well. So instead of taking care of them, instead of showing them love, we live life selfishly. I mean, let's call it what it is. And so I've started to see a pattern in society. It's not that I've saw it on social media. It's not that I saw it anywhere else, but it's something that not that I saw it behind the screen, let's put it that way, but it's something that I started to see in people nowadays. Yeah, sure, I see people going on vacation with their kids, but that's it. That's the only time that they have together, instead of every day spending that time with your kids. So by having seen not just friends, but people outside of my friends, which not too many, right? But I've seen more people outside the circle that I hang out with, and it saddened me. So that got me to thinking, what kind of a father do I want to be for my kid? And so I looked up these ideas, and which turned out, like I said before, turned out to be facts. And so I bring them to the table. So why is fatherhood so important? Why do we as men have to be there? I mean, a woman plays her role as well as mother, especially, which is a very important role. But I feel like it balances out. One can't really function without the other. The divorce rate is high. The other day, and I should have written it down, but the other day I read that couples are getting divorced within the week. So divorces are spiking. No one's really getting married either way, but if they do get married, they're divorcing. So far, I've been happily married. It's about to be 4 years in October, and I can tell you it's been great. Of course, it's been tough because I married someone who's totally different than me, but I needed that because it balances me out tremendously. My wife is calm, and I'm more of energetic, as you can tell. I talk with my hands. I'm more energetic. But all that to say that just as spouses are important to each other, fathers and mothers are important to their kids. And so the fatherhood, which is the whole purpose that I have this podcast, right? Fathers, men, are very important in the development of their children. And this is not something that comes from me. It actually comes from psychiatrists, psychologists, doctors, anybody who has common sense will tell you that a man is needed in a relationship, especially when it's a relationship with children. So, like I said, I broke it down into 5 points that I feel are very important. the fifth being my add-on to the four that I got from another website. And so with that, I will start. So the first point is children look up to us for security, both physical and emotional. So the physical part comes whenever, let's say, a kid falls, right? Whenever your son, your daughter is playing outside in the playground and he or she falls and scrapes her knee, or she just falls, right? And bumps her, I don't know, her leg or her arm onto the playground or whatever. So the first thing that they will do is run to someone they feel secure with. And a lot of times that'll be us men. They see us as the strength, as the power, or the security in that. So they'll run straight to us, and we should be there for that. Because if we're not, of course, they're going to run to their mother or whoever's there and find them as the source of security. They'll replace you because the main source of security is not there. See where I'm headed? So they'll look for us, for the physical stuff, and we should be there for them, especially when they most need us. I mean, if a kid punches them and they get hurt out of bullying, they have to run to some place they feel secure, and a lot of times that's us. They'll find us as a security, as a fortress, and so we'll help them out of that bullying situation. But yeah, they'll come to us for a physical security. Emotionally, that's where nowadays, that's where a lot of my podcast is focused in, which is emotional stuff. Of course, it's for men, right? But even for children, if us men are not there to show them love, to show them that they're cared for, to take care of them, to play with them, to make them feel important, then especially boys, right? Then we're not doing our job. If we're fixing the car first before our children's need, when we can literally do it later. Although we might have to go to sleep later, we can do it later. Sacrifice some time for your kids. Like I've mentioned many times before, in order for me to podcast, I have to podcast once my family's asleep. And then stay up late podcasting, recording an episode, editing, and all this other stuff. But it's important that we show them that they're loved. A lot of times, I can see it in my own life, my parents have had a 180 change once they came into the church. But before that, it was different. I didn't grow up feeling loved. I mean, if you talk to my parents, they'll tell you, oh no, they loved me, but I never felt loved. Then, I've always dreamed for my dad to take me to the park, for example, to spend time with me like that. But he was always working. He was always busy. Church always, took up a lot of their time as well. So I never really felt loved. And that's something that I need to kind of cut. I need to cut that chain. I need to break that chain, with my son. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spend more time with my son. And hopefully I'll be able to do that with my second child, who's also a boy. Spend time with them. Let them know that they're loved by me. When they're scared, they'll run to us. That's another emotional security. So emotionally, we need to be there as well, not just physically. We need to be there for them. When they want to talk to someone, let us be the ones they come talk to. We cannot allow them to go talk to someone else, a total stranger who doesn't really know them. We need to know our children. I can tell you now that my parents don't know me for who I am 100%, because I never felt that trust. And that's something that we need to work on. We need to help them feel trust. We need to help them trust us. Okay. Well, we're there for security, both physically and emotionally. Second point, they will look at us to lay down rules and to enforce them. And this is something that I'm big on. In my household, we're placing some rules that we see. We wanted to live life a little bit together to see what rules we can set and to follow. And so my son, it's funny because one of the biggest things that I have in the house is right before we eat dinner, and a lot of Christian homes do this, is we pray before we eat. And so although he's a kid, a baby, he'll eat before us because, of course, he can't control his hunger. He knows he has to make the sign of the cross before he eats, at least, and he does. Although he doesn't do the full-on sign of the cross, he'll tap his chest in as a sign that he just did it. And so he knows that, but he knows that because he sees us do it all the time. Now it's different if I tell him we have to bless the food, we have to pray right before we eat, and that's it, and not do it ever. He's not going to do it. He sees me doing it at every single meal, and he does it himself on his own. I don't have to tell him. So another example. If I take my son, if we go somewhere, we go visit people, he'll say hello. If we walk into a place, whether there are 50 people or if there's 2 people, we have to say hello. It doesn't have to be individually, one-on-one. But if you walk into a place, just say hello in a general manner, right? Once again, it's a flexible type of thing, right? The rules can be flexible depending on the type of person you are. But all that to say that if your son or your daughter sees that you're enforcing the rules that you put in place, they will maintain those rules without a question, without a doubt, without arguing. They'll do it. If you walk into a house and you take your shoes off before entering the house and leave them off, they will do it wherever they go. Just to give you an example, my sister-in-law, so her kids, what they do a lot is say please and thank you after they're done. After they do anything, if they hand someone their games or whatever they do, they say please and thank you. And that's a big rule. I also have that same rule. Say please and thank you. For me, that's a very important manner, and it's a rule that you have to do, especially in my house. So my sister-in-law has taught them, for them, that's something important. They have to say please and thank you because that's the nice thing to do. So my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law agree that rule will stay in place. And so the kids, seeing that they do that, they reflect it in their own personal way of living. So enforce it. Enforce the rules that you place. Don't just place them and not enforce them, because then they're not going to take you seriously. You need to enforce it. I enforce certain rules in my household that my son sees that we do, and he does them. Of course, he's still a baby, so I don't really expect him to do it 100%, but he does do them. You'll be impressed with seeing him. But yeah, so enforce them. Point number 3. They will also see how we treat people. And it goes hand in hand with the second point, right? If you're going to talk to someone, or have guests over or visit people, they will see how you treat people, and they're going to take that example into the world and treat people the same way that you treat the people that you see. Of course, it may be later where they may or may not discover that that's not right. You know, for example, me, I always thought that saying certain rude comments was cool because my dad does it all the time. And so just saying something in an outburst thinking it's funny when in reality it's rude, I had to stop that, right? But I had to mirror what I saw because I thought it was normal. I thought people liked that, when in reality it doesn't. So, but in the beginning, they will see how you treat people. So we need to work on it, right? We need to see, okay, how do I approach a person with my son? Do I automatically cuss them out, or do I politely call them to call their attention, get their attention? I'm sorry. It's all up to us. The way that we want, we that saying, right? We treat people the way we want to be treated. Well, same thing. Our kids will see that and they will mirror it. So we need to be careful what we do, how we treat people, because they will do it. A lot of times our ideas will change as they grow, but we are their foundation. Fourth point. Our kids, especially boys to us men, they will model themselves after us. Once again, goes hand in hand with the third point. They think right now that we're their superheroes. And that's great, because there's nothing more proud, that makes us proud, than our kids considering us their superheroes. It's funny because my brother-in-law said something that was very interesting. He said that he told his son that he's not perfect. He's not anything special, but that he does try to be an example for him. And so I say that because although they see us as superheroes, we need to bring them down to reality and make them see that we're not perfect, because one day we will make a mistake. And when that day comes, if they thought us to be perfect, that perfect vision or perspective they had of us will be destroyed, and the relationship can be hurt, and we don't want that. So we need to tell them, we're not perfect, but we do try to be as much as we can for their sake, so they can have an example in life. So let's not be afraid to be honest with them. Try to be an example, and help them grow from there. Now, the fifth point, I left the best for last, in my opinion, and that has to do with faith. Throughout the podcast, that I'm a very big, I love my faith, right? I'm a Catholic, Roman Catholic to be more specific, and faith is very important to me. So I know that the foundation for faith comes from us, especially from the boys to the dads, right? We need to be that example for them. We need to show them the ropes of faith. Take them to church. Let them see us pray. Let's not be embarrassed. Let's show them that praying and praising God and worshiping God and doing everything else that comes with religion. It's okay. Let's not be afraid. Let's not be embarrassed. That's the only way for them to have a good relationship with God. And plus, without God in us, we won't be able to have that good relationship with our kids. So we need faith to be a part of it, just like we need faith to be a part of our relationships with relationship with our wives. Also with our kids is important. So I would stress more on it, but I don't want to shove it down your throats. Just know that without God, we can't do anything. And so with that being said, these were the 5 points that I see are important for fatherhood. And if you have any questions, you can always comment down below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, whenever you have a chance, leave me a comment, leave me a question, do whatever you got to do. Help me out with this, because I know a lot of men out there have questions or have certain things they want to be cleared up, or they feel alone. You're not alone. Once again, I'm here for you. Once again, if you want to support this work of mine, this show, and I do dare say ministry, because I feel that I'm being called to help men as much as I can, of course. Just leave anything. Donations are acceptable. If not, just hit that like, that subscribe, and leave a comment, and that helps a whole bunch. So tune in next time to the Gentleman Talk Show, and I am your host, Jose. Hear from you soon.